Welcome to Silence This Podcast.
This is Silence This. It's a podcast with two guys, and we talk to other people sometimes, but not today.
Mostly about free speech and things that upset people, because we like to make people upset with our words, because then they grow up into adults instead of staying grown children. Yay!
Ending Peter Pan syndrome. There should be a term for that.
Yeah, well, I guess that's been my big theme of the week, has been, I've always strove to grow up and be a better person and to try to not be quite such a piece of shit, but I'm realizing how many people are just staying children. And they're kind of resolved to it. They're like defending it.
Yeah. No, there's a lot of people defending that. That's a good way to put it. Shirking personal responsibility, avoiding it for as long as possible. And look, that's fun.
Yeah.
I'm not going to pretend that that's not fun.
It's fun to just fuck around and show up to the party and win.
In fact,
and not do anything, not practice, not rehearse, not train, not actually be good at anything.
Hold on. That's almost the point of making a lot of money, right? So that you can coast yourself and then give your kids that life where they can, should they choose,
take it kind of fucking easy. Yeah, like the college entrance scams.
Yeah, I mean, I hate to say it, but that's kind of a plus of that. Well, and sure, those people often don't achieve very highly.
No,
because
the thing about that is that actually, you take away the struggle and the difficulty that got the person wealthy, and the person that grows up without that struggle and difficulty no longer has the traits of the person that is successful.
Well, they're missing the drive.
Well, it's not just the drive, but they
never had to face that hardship.
Yeah, they never had to face the hardships. They never had to accumulate the skills. They never had to, prove to themselves that they could and build confidence in themselves and take responsibility for things that weren't already in their realm and solve problems. They didn't have to do that shit. They just threw money at it. And
I would say that
you don't get any better.
I'm in a similar situation. Not so much me, but my parents were that generation where my grandfather made enough money to give a really good life to his children, right? They had a really good life. And, but the thing is I have created challenges for myself in realms that I feel like I want to be challenged in. Yeah. Such as creating content that I think, helps people learn.
That's part of what I think we're doing here.
Yeah.
Is that I was recognizing that I wasn't working as hard at the things that I want to do as I should be.
Yeah.
And this came up, and I was like, yeah, let's do that.
Yeah.
And so here we are. But, yeah, it's a matter of taking personal responsibility for things and lifting the weight, lifting the difficulty of doing something.
Well, speaking of lift, I don't expect to get paid for this unless people really like it and find it worth their time. And I'm trying to build that, but until then, I work.
Yeah.
I have another job, and I understand why. I'm not out there.
Works.
I'm not going
everybody should just hand shit to me.
I mean, it would be fun.
Yeah. Well,
I'm not going to pretend I wouldn't like that.
It's the mentality even that bothers me. We were talking right before we went on air about a Twitter exchange that I was in today where I was trying to make a point about personal responsibility.
Yeah.
And we're talking about if you go fishing and you don't catch a fish, they were saying you should still be able to eat fish.
Right.
And I was saying if you didn't catch a fish, you don't have a fucking fish. You don't get to eat a fish because you failed at the task. So you don't, and they were basically making this point that, well, then the guy next to you should just hand you a fucking fish.
Yeah, what if the guy next to you did catch 2 fish?
Well, I understand that. That's not the point I was making.
That's not the point you're making. However, your absolutist point is a bit outside the realm of most reality because
we live in a major, huge society, and nobody has ever experienced an environment like that.
Right.
Well, I'm here to tell you, you don't have to live in this environment. You can go live in the woods.
You can go do that.
You can go live in the woods and find meat and eat that and find whatever. There's ways to live.
Look up Slab City for those communists who think that you have to live on the grid, that you have to do what the government says, you have to do what you have to work. You can go live in Slab City. It's also called Meth City for a reason, but there's a bunch of people that just live out there off the grid. There's no electricity, no running water. It's like they have to fend for themselves, and they do. And they've made a community, and nobody bothers them, and they don't bother anybody else.
Sounds like a fucking shithole. I'll pass.
It is. It is a shithole. However, if that's the way you want to live,
go for it. Yeah, but hold on.
Slab City's there
for
you.
Right back to capitalism, to America, to the reality that we do live in. It's this, the push and pull between the haves and the have-nots, and the notion that that you can't become a have. Tandy, just open the door for her. I'll get it in a sec. Hopefully she'll shut up. I wanted to finish my point.
Okay.
My point was that the country America works because not just a belief in that if you work hard you can get something, but that does actually work, and that if you build something and you make enough of a contribution to society will compensate you. So you will be rewarded for your hard work.
So I've come across this new concept due to telling that to communists, and they bring up what they call primitive accumulation.
Okay.
Which is essentially saying that all capital, all money, all wealth is based on oppression and treating people badly and blah, 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 blah.
No, it's not. It's based on...
Well, that's based the central fallacy of Marxism.
Well,
you can't have Marxism without that.
That's not what money's about. Money is about value exchange.
Yeah, it's about... Yeah, exactly.
Is that
something has been exchanged for value.
Well, here's the problem, is that if I have apples are only good for so long. I harvest my apples. I can't sell apples all year.
Yeah.
I can't be trading an apple for a steak or a bunch of apples for a steak or whatever you're trading. You can't be making that barter trade because the apples are only good for so long. But the money sticks.
Yeah,
and so
you trade the apples for money.
You trade the apples for money, and now you have the money, and the money doesn't lose its value, so you didn't lose the value of your work. It's about retaining the value. That's what money's about, and being able to exchange it.
There was a
for
show,
your work, for your labor, for your efforts.
There was a show called The Middle, and it had an episode about this, where a guy figured out, hey, I don't want to use money. I just want to trade what I'm doing with my neighbors. Mm-hmm. And so he just starts trading things. It's like, we don't need this fucking money. I'll just trade. And he starts coming up with these trade deals. And eventually the trade deals start getting so complicated. He's like, well, shit. Like, I need to keep track of who owes who what.
And he invents money.
Yeah. And that's what these fucking it's like. And then they're like, oh, it's not. And I get their criticism is that it's not about money. It's about owning property. That's really what it comes down to, is the ability to own property and what they call primitive accumulation, which means that, first, all money is bad because, the farmland was taken from Native Americans who didn't recognize land ownership and were fighting over the land amongst each other constantly anyway.
The whole concept of ownership and money and stuff is very much of an abstraction of the world, and it's created a lot of good. But it has also created a lot of evil.
Well, and you have to recognize
like
both.
Anything that humans get their hands on, we have a tendency to kind of do that. An ability to kind of make the best and the worst of
Marxists
fucking anything.
Can only recognize the bad.
Yeah,
if they recognize any of the good that comes from capitalism, their theory's shot.
Yeah. Well, that's a pretty consistent theme. I'm pretty critical of feminism. We've talked about it before. But when they look back at patriarchy, it's the same thing. Where
you're not critical of all feminism. You're critical
of a very specific
breed.
Feminism. Yeah, intersectional, identity politic, very specific breed of feminism. But the other thing is that, I think I am somewhat critical of the theory, at least second wave theory with bell hooks and stuff.
That's second wave.
I believe that's second wave. Isn't
okay,
that?
I
don't know.
Was unaware.
I'm still learning.
Okay.
I might be third wave.
I thought intersectional was the third. But
I don't know if this is. But the thing is that by the time it got to this set of ideas, you're breaking people down into groups by race and gender, and then you're judging them along those lines, and then you're punishing them based on those groups and the history of this group, or rewarding based on the history of this group and that group. So what ends up happening is you have individual inequalities being enforced by the system, and it fucks the whole system. It's not good,
and it's ignoring individualism.
Right.
It's ignoring that individuals don't share the characteristics of other people with their same skin color,
And not only that,
or their gender.
they definitely don't share responsibility for somebody else's actions.
That's for damn sure.
Back to personal responsibility.
Yeah.
It really does kind of come back to that. And that's, I mean, with the communists, it's the same sort of thing where you don't want to be responsible for your livelihood anymore. You want to show up and turn a crank and then have the government solve the fucking problem, put food on your table, and fucking just take care of you. And so you can be a nice coddled little baby. That's what Marxism is. That is what emotionally, that's what drives it at a deep level, instead of wanting to go out and take on the world and build something. And like, there's a reason America's here. There's a reason we fucking won.
Yeah. That's what I always say. Name, whenever these communists argue with me, I say, name one successful communist country you would like to live in.
And what did they come up with?
They say, oh, the U.S. took them all down. It's like, that's why I said successful.
Like, yeah, successful. If competition wasn't here, we would have won. No shit. No fucking shit.
That's the best way to... That's so funny. Oh, if that other team didn't show up, we would have won.
They're like, yeah, that's
if they had
competition.
Forfeit. Oh, we win every game that's forfeit.
Yeah. Well, they showed up. That's not fair. They played the game different than I did, and it worked better. That's not fair. That's really what it is. I mean, I essentially think there's some of that attitude in the feminism that I'm critical of. There's some of that attitude where it's like, men are beating us. They should just not play the game. And you're like, or you could get better. And they don't want to hear that. They don't want to have to compete because they think that the competition is bad. They've justified in their minds that the competition is bad, but the competition is the system. That's how it works. That's how we determine who's successful and who's unsuccessful, is by who accomplishes the task better.
Whether you like competition or not,
it's essential. We need it.
It's haters hating the game. That's all it is.
It's
just
people
haters hating the game.
People who are either afraid that they can't succeed, or that they know that they're less competent in whatever way, and so they want the game to change.
This guy that I've been arguing with on Twitter, who's like, very Marxist, eventually he said, well, I work for a union, and I work for a good union at the school that I teach computer science and calculus at. Because I said, like, oh, you're not intelligent enough to start your own business, basically. And he said, well, I'm intelligent enough to teach it. And it's like, yeah. So, well, but if you were good at computer science, you would have programmed something that we're all using right now.
You'd be an engineer.
But you didn't.
This is one of the things that's typical of the universities, and part of the reason why the universities have become a problem in America right now.
Well, he's not even a university teacher. Of course, he's a public school teacher.
Okay, but
so he gets paid by the government. So, of course, he supports the government.
It's indicative of the problem in the universities, which is those who can't teach. The people who cannot succeed in the outside world fall back into the universities because they're not good at the competition. So we've accumulated a whole bunch of people in one place who all have that same mindset of, I can't compete. Yeah. I can't compete. So the competition must be what's unfair. Nothing wrong with me. Must be the system. And that's personal responsibility.
Wow. But that's funny because I hear about it like being a conspiracy to like get liberals and communists into college, and it's like, no, it just works out. The people who are paid by the government support more government.
Well, and the people that didn't want to get into the competition and are scared of the competition, that fell and hid in the universities, those are the people who believe that the competition is bad. They don't understand it because they have not participated in it in an effective way in their life. And so to them, it's just nothing but a dead-end failure, and it's unfair, and it should be removed. Whereas those people that can compete understand that it's an incentive system to build more competent people. And so if you get rid of that, you're just going to create a whole bunch of incompetent people. I mean, look at what happened with Russia and the Bolshevik Revolution, and they got rid of all the high producers, they got rid of all the high-value people, and said, everybody else can just do their job because we're all great at stuff too. Turns out, nope. Couldn't even grow food. Everybody fucking died. Didn't work out.
It's called the Holodomor, by the way. Holodomor. Look that up, people.
What is it?
Holodomor. That is when about 7 million Ukrainians were killed in basically what was a genocide, and it all starved to death.
Yeah, and
Their
it was
grain
because
was taken and they
right,
weren't
'cause they
allowed
had
to produce.
Yeah, they had to give all of it to the government. The government wouldn't let them do anything, and if they did anything, they would be. That was. I remember
they were overproducing. They were making too much. They were too successful.
And that must
they
mean
had to die.
They had to be slowed down,
starved
and stopped
to death.
Yeah, just
not just starved, which I learned doesn't mean to death, because I was arguing with communists who were saying your choice is to work or starve, and I was like, I don't see anybody dying, and they're like, oh no, starve doesn't mean die. It just means be hungry for a little bit. I'm like, I see.
Yeah.
So if I choose to spend my money on meth rather than food, I'm starving, right? That's some
of those guys out there pretty much are, but
they are.
They don't eat.
But that's their own choice. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, if you choose to, have meth for breakfast, that's your choice. I'm having beer for breakfast. That's my choice.
Yeah. Well, it's 6:00. We're good.
I mean,
7.
it's still my breakfast.
Oh, because
but-
you're waking up. That's right. Because you do the night shift. That's right. Okay. Yeah, because it's your choice. That's how you want to live, dude.
It's what I'm doing today.
Yeah. Like fucking America. Fuck yeah, dude.
And I'm going to have to
Freedom.
work hard tomorrow to cover for it. But what the fuck ever.
What the fuck ever, dude. Fuck, cheers, bro. I already worked my fucking 8-hour day, 8.5-hour day, driving fucking people around San Francisco, so I can sit here and talk to you fine people in the evening. You want to tell some Lyft stories?
Sure, but actually, I'm working a metal show tomorrow, so I don't have anything to complain about. I'm going to have a good time.
Nice.
Avatar and Devin Townsend Project. They're fucking amazing. Devin Townsend Project. Or it's just Devin Townsend. I don't know if it's Project.
But it's that guy.
Yeah.
Whoever that guy
It's fucking progressive metal. It's amazing.
I have no idea who these people are.
Hard ass shit.
Dude, I can't do it anymore. I had my Dillinger Escape Plan Converge days.
Oh, that's up that alley.
Yeah, I had those days, and like, I kind of got my fill on it and moved on. And
I
every
like-
time I go back, I appreciate
well, to me,
it. I enjoy
like,
it.
Between
but-
the Buried and Me is like there. It's really
They're good.
it's got the flow, like it's really hard, but then it's got its soaring moments, and then it's got its like metal, and then like I really enjoy
Yeah.
that roller coaster
I was
ride.
enjoying like Mastodon.
Yeah,
It's like
same
big,
sort of
big
thing.
epic sort of like
Yeah,
you're
big swell.
Yeah, and you're like
builds
it's
and just-
orchestral almost,
yeah.
and like you're like, yeah, dude, I can see the Dragon Man. You don't even have to put it on the album, man. I can fucking see it.
Yeah, to me, Between the Buried and Me is like the Pink Floyd of like hard ass metal.
Because they're trippy.
Yeah.
Yeah, nice.
But I got here's something I really wanted to talk about. Budweiser UK posted this. It's excited to reveal we are now proud sponsors of Pride London. We are working closely with them and our charity partners to celebrate the diversity within the LGBT community and fly the flag for everyone at #Pride Jubilee. And
I know where you're going with this. It's
And
the
then
cups.
a photo, a taste of what's to come,
Okay,
and
can we
cups.
cut to it. Cut to
Yeah.
it. Get to it. All right, we'll show everybody. Well, that's going to be out of
can't frame
focus.
it,
It's going to be out of focus as
whatever.
well. But
But,
the point is that there's 9 cups, and each one represents a different sexual orientation, right?
Yeah. As long as it's not straight or just gay.
Right.
So that's that. So first
So hold
of
on,
all,
hold on. So but go through them for me. Go through them for me. I'm trying to catch up.
so we gotta do this. So
Okay, so there's a bi pride one that's pink and purple and blue, asexual, black, gray, white.
let me talk about this: black, gray, white, purple. So black is for asexual, gray is for sometimes asexual, sometimes sexual, and also people who have to get to know a person before they're attracted to them. That's a separate thing now. Just having to get to and you're not
Okay.
immediately attracted. You have to get
Go
to
ahead,
know.
go,
to
keep
them.
going, keep going. We got a lot to get.
White for allies, and purple I don't even remember.
Pan pride, pansexual.
So that means you're attracted to not only 2 genders, but all the other genders.
Okay, yeah.
Intersex pride, actually a real thing. Intersex people used
yeah.
to be called hermaphrodites. They have ambiguous genitalia. That's a real thing. I actually support that one.
Oh my goodness, and then lesbian pride.
Yeah. All different colors for lesbian pride.
All these
different shades of
colors
pink and
things for
purple.
this. The lesbians get a cup. The straights don't get a cup,
And neither do
and the gay
gays.
men don't get
Yeah,
a cup.
no gay men's cup.
But they did throw in the umbrella cup, the
new flag.
inclusive cup, which is the new flag, which is the rainbow, but it includes brown and black.
You notice
purple?
anything not included on that cup? I see brown, black, red, orange, yellow, green, blue, purple. What? You notice anything missing?
Red, yellow, green, IGB. No, what?
White.
Well,
There's.
because they are white on the other cups. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's white stuff on other cups.
It's like why? See, they all of a sudden they decided to add brown and black.
Did they explain the decision of adding brown and black? Like,
It's very. Oh, you know the explanation for adding brown and black.
if somebody over there in their PR team has thought of this and actually has a bullshit explanation, I would like to know.
Oh no! So that was added last year, actually.
Yeah.
It's for Black and Latino. That's exactly what it's for, because Black and Latino is a sexual thing
All
now.
right. We started this podcast to talk about things that people don't want to fucking hear. It's in a challenge to them to silence us. So the perspective that we're seeing, correct us if we're wrong, is that very specifically men and white men are being excluded from this particular PR campaign in an interesting way because now the gay men are excluded.
Yeah.
Yeah. Gay men and straight people are excluded.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah. They purposely no. I mean, they call straight people allies, and they did give them a white stripe on the asexual
Ooh,
cup.
So allies are white.
Allies got a white stripe on the asexual only cup.
Imagery wise, and like if you've studied symbolism and imagery and these sorts of things, it does appear that the public edge of this thing, because there's not one body sitting around determining policy for this thing. There's not like a central location for
There
this.
kind of is.
It's a whole bunch of different people. I mean, there kind of is. There kind of isn't. They're all.
It's like the Latinx thing.
I don't know what that is.
Latinx. Have you seen that?
Can we not? We go too far. I wanted to finish
Okay.
talking about that.
Okay. We'll come back to Latinx.
Yeah, that's going to take us off on yet another tangent. I wanted to finish on this. But, I mean, this has basically been my complaint on social media that I'm bringing up, that the people that are claiming that they want inclusion and acceptance and all this stuff are very specifically trying to go about getting that by excluding and shaming and reducing other people. And their justification for doing that was, it's been done before to people that were in my group, and now my group can do it to your group. That sort of ideological progression is the same sort of thing of horrendous things in history.
It's original sin.
It
awful. All comes back to the same idea of original sin.
Yeah.
These people are not up to code. These people are less worthy because of X.
Yeah.
Because it be sin. And like that's the church taught that for years. You have original sin. You can't get away from it. You're a sinner. You're born a sinner. You have sin. You've got to atone for it your whole life. And that's how they get people to be guilty, and that's how they get people to give to the church.
I could go in. There's truth to that statement, and I know why Christianity starts there, and I believe it gets misinterpreted. But if you understand it properly, there's a lot of truth to that, and it is a good place to start from for where they're going.
Well, if you can connect it to karma and the idea that you were born because of the karma that your soul had accrued before, therefore that's why you were brought into this world, then yeah, sure.
Well, the real purpose of bringing it up is to acknowledge, one, you're gonna fuck up. 2, other people are going to fuck up. And then 3, forgive yourself and forgive other people. That's
where Christianity comes along, and the Old New Testament and actual teachings of Jesus overturn the old book of Jewish fairy tales.
Right.
And
then we get the New Testament.
Yeah.
Christianity,
to me, it's like you
Romans,
don't really need the Old Testament. The Old Testament was dragged along to appease the Pharisees, what were they? The rabbis, basically, and to appease the people that had already grown up using those stories.
There's good stuff in
there.
The thing is that, like, if you take it for what it is and realize that it's myths and legends, and that this Jesus guy probably really did live, and some of this stuff was said, but really it's been passed down through the grapevine, so it has been twisted and manipulated. But what it's been boiled down to is effective.
Yeah.
It does work. There are things worth learning from that religion. And I think it's worth taking a note. I think part of the reason why it is so successful is because of the mechanisms of forgiveness and bringing people
Right.
back in, and it is less malicious than other. I mean,
Yeah.
Is-
Other than
Islam's-
Buddhism,
Islam's brutal.
Yeah,
Islam is still brutal.
Buddhism and to a certain degree Hinduism are actually very forgiving and understanding religions.
Yeah,
That's
And
why I
certain-
think Tulsi
and
Gabbard's
so-
pretty
some
cool.
Christian religions don't execute it well, and there are bad Christian
There are a lot of
organizations
terrible,
out there.
not just
It
bad
totally
sects.
exists.
There's
get
bad
it.
churches.
I get it.
There's bad Christians.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot to be criticized there, but I listen to. I don't know if I got all the way through Jordan Peterson's biblical lecture series, but it changed the way I think about the Bible. That's for fucking sure. That, like, if you don't take it literally and you take the value of it for what it is and be like, this is a parable, what's the point of it?
Here, okay, I want to get back to these cups.
I was done with the cups.
Nope,
but,
nope.
yeah.
There's a cup for non-binary pride, and right below that, there's a different cup for gender fluid pride.
What's the difference?
Great fucking question. I guess the difference between non-binary is you don't fit any binary, and fluid is sometimes you feel like a nut, sometimes you don't.
Sometimes you fit one binary, sometimes you fit the other one.
Yeah.
Isn't that just normal people, though? Like, there are some times where, like, I'm doing something that feels feminine, that feels effeminate, that feels, like, deeply. There's a reason that we use those words, and it isn't because this is a man thing and that's a woman thing. It's that by doing that action, you feel that, like, in that gender. There's a reason we identify things that way. But it does shift across cultures, so things that are masculine in one culture may not be masculine in another. I've been asking this question a bunch.
I feel like this has been a theme that's come through to me musically. Maynard James Keenan is the singer for Tool and A Perfect Circle. Tool, thus named, is his male band.
Yeah.
And A Perfect
Perfect
Circle,
Circle,
thus
vagina.
named,
Yeah,
also his female side. And I really like A Perfect Circle. I think it's a great band, but it really does put me in touch with more of my feminine emotions.
Yeah.
And I like that. I like that band
It's okay.
does that for me. And it's really cool. And I really, like, to me, there's Tool fans, and there's people who like both, and then there's people who, like, really get A Perfect Circle. And for me, I really get it, and I fucking love it.
Yeah.
And because it enables me to get in touch with emotions that are normally suppressed in me.
That normally you don't get in touch with and you don't
Yeah.
interact with.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's definitely one of the things that I've recognized in talking about this so much is that even, the most feminine woman out there has some macho shit she probably does. Every now and then.
Karen fucking Teed.
Yeah.
Oh,
That
in
she-
fact, that's one of the big things of feminists. When you see real, like, militant feminists, like,
Yeah.
they're pretty macho.
Macho. They're expressing masculinity.
Yeah.
And-
In a lot of ways, yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, it's even, there's definitely that,
But there are feminists who are very feminine, too.
there's a lot of, men expressing femininity and women, expressing masculinity and...
Nothing wrong with that.
Well, that's the thing is that I think
We went through
everybody,
this in the 80s.
I think everybody's pretty cool with it these days. I don't think there is any major oppression. I think
Okay,
everybody's pretty
look.
fucking cool with it.
Look,
Last I checked,
I have a
but we live in
coworker
San Francisco, so
who's
be
I have a
fair.
coworker who's fucking awesome, and he just all of a sudden started wearing makeup to work,
yeah,
and my girlfriend told him, she complimented on it, and he said, "Oh, you're the first one to say anything."
something, yeah.
Like most people, he's like, I expected people to react, and most people were just like, "Oh, okay."
yeah,
And it's like, that is San Francisco for you.
yeah. You can do whatever
you
wacky
start wearing
shit you
makeup,
want.
and like most people are just
Nobody
like,
cares.
cool,
Yeah,
like
they're like,
cool, like
cool.
I support this,
They're
like great,
yeah, you're wearing makeup today. All right,
yeah.
Could you grab that?
It's like you're here doing your job just
Yeah,
like the rest of us,
like
and,
the rest of
and
us.
now you look pretty.
Yeah,
cool.
And you have eyeliner on. It's nice. You did your eyebrows.
Yeah,
That's your
good
eyebrows.
job.
Nice.
Like yeah.
Thing. Okay. Yeah, that's
It's just hearing that from him saying like, I expected reactions, and they just
Were you at the punchline when Charlie Ballard in full drag had a meltdown on stage?
no. But you told me about it.
Yeah, that's kind of the ugly version of that expression where he really went way over the top with the whole thing just
And
for the
nobody
attention.
cared.
No, the thing is he got the attention,
Oh.
but then he revealed the truth of that he wanted that attention all the time. And why do you only do this when I'm in drag? Why do you only pay attention to me like that when I'm in drag? I want people to come up to me and take pictures with me and hug me and do all these things like
That's
when
a
I'm
valid-
not in drag.
You know what? Honestly, he's making a valid point.
It was a valid emotional point. He was making it in the middle of like
Yeah.
a crying meltdown
Yeah,
on
not a
stage
good
that
time
people
to
were
do
not
that.
laughing at. It was
On
not a
stage
good
at the
time.
punchline is not the time to make that statement. However,
Not how you get that.
you know what?
emotion.
I bet everybody who was there still remember that to this day.
Yeah, probably I do. That was a good fucking stage breakdown right there. I've broken down. I've lost my shit on stage and been like, "Fuck this." I'm fucking blah. And just say some crazy shit. Just say whatever the fuck you want to say and just be like, no, you know what? I'm not telling jokes. I'm going to yell at you for 5 minutes about whatever the fuck I want to yell at you about.
I've never
Have you ever done that?
Not that
Oh,
bad.
it's good, man. Just do it once or twice.
Not that bad. One of the weirdest things though
Just don't
is
say
like
anything too
when
crazy.
when I was arguing with communists and I was above a target apparently because like I just got attacked by like 30 different
That
messages
swarmed.
at once.
Yeah.
And fucking one of them, and people went back into my timeline and searched for shit.
Oh, yeah.
And they found this thing where I had tweeted.
Oh,
like,
you told me where you were
I
11
yelled-
years ago.
Yeah. Well, one thing that I actually tweeted was I was just in the Tenderloin and I was at an open mic in the Tenderloin and I yelled out "sand in-word" and no more drinking. Or like for a while, right?
Yeah.
Full story. As after somebody retweeted it, I was like, oh, I remember that. And full story is there was a guy on stage, a Middle Eastern comedian, who was saying like, what terms have you heard? What racist terms have you heard from Middle Easterners?
And you
And he
said
was
it.
literally, and he was waiting for it. Like nobody else would say it. And he was sitting there like not moving on until somebody said
says
it. And I was like, I'll say it in this context because he's literally asking for this.
it. Yeah.
And I was like, so I said it. And
Yeah,
it
how'd it
was
go?
just funny to remember. Oh, it was fine. No, it didn't matter. Like it was very.
Yeah, in the room, everybody goes, the guy
Yeah.
asked for it.
Yeah.
The guy thought of the worst thing he could think of
Yeah.
and said it because that's what the comedian
That's
just
exactly
told him to do.
because he'd heard all the other answers and nobody else was
said the
willing
one
to
that
say
he
it.
wanted to hear.
He
Yeah.
was, and so
And you
I
gave
said
him-
it. He moved on, did his bit. That was it.
Yeah.
Nobody paid any fucking
Funny,
attention
but
to
out
it.
of context, they're like, you yelled this in a bar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when I tweeted it at the
You
time,
knew it was
like-
out of context
like,
because
yeah.
that's what makes it funny.
Yeah, that's why it's funny for me to
That's
say.
why it's funny to be like, I just said this in a bar and it was fine.
Yeah, everything was fine.
Oh, God.
In the middle of the Tenderloin,
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
like,
Oh,
like.
you're totally gonna get away with it down there.
That's the thing.
Everybody's gonna go. Yeah.
Everybody's like, everybody's like, oh, you wouldn't say that in front. It's like I said that
to the guy. He asked me to say it, and then I
with
said
all different races in the room.
That was the other thing. That's,
Some of them have guns and knives.
That's inclusion right there. That's safety. That's security. That's
great.
That's non-racism right there.
That was a different time, though. That was years ago.
But you get what I'm saying? That like this is one of the things that I've said. You know, there's all that don't say the N-word. White guys definitely
Yeah.
cannot say the N-word. And I'm like, but you realize that like when white guys can say the N-word is when we know racism's over.
Yeah.
Because nobody gives a shit anymore.
We were almost there. We were on the way.
Yeah, then everybody
They changed the
freaked out.
term. People using it for my bro, my buddy, my
Yeah.
friend. All races were doing it. We were doing it.
I
In
remember
the
that.
90s, all of us were doing it.
Mid 2000s, you
Yeah.
totally do in the 2000s.
And then all
yeah.
of a sudden, Twitter. Twitter ruined it.
That might be true that social media.
Social media ruined it. We were
Social
able
media
to
turned
just
up
call
the
each other
policing.
names, and there was no police. Now that's doing it. Just heard Anthony Cumia saying this. I'm fucking stealing this from Cumia. He was just on
I was-
Crowder.
I was gonna
And,
say
like,
something
but
original.
like that's what he was. I mean, that's basically. I'm not stealing it, but like I'm
say
parlaying
it
the
then.
idea that like social media has. He said that social media is the new FCC.
Yeah, it's
Like
the new
you used to
censorship.
complain to the FCC, and now and then you
Now
had
you
some
complain-
arbitration and lawyers.
But now you
None
complain.
of that now.
Now you
now
just
it's,
complain to Twitter.
Now it's just
That's
the
actually
mob.
a really fucking good point.
The mob.
Yeah. I was going to say that while I was in the military, like, I was like, oh, racism's over.
We were almost there.
Like, because, like,
Twitter ruined it.
it was...
We were almost there.
I mean, the Marine Corps is an extremely diverse
Facebook
group.
too. Facebook's part of the problem.
The Marine Corps is... I mean, there's your fair share of white guys, and then there's kind of a core of Hispanic guys. But like,
Hispanic dudes are badass.
well, the other thing, like, there's everybody else. There's all these Asian dudes and Islander dudes and black dudes and fucking mix of all kinds, dudes with different mixed into everything, like from everywhere that grew up in other countries that speak different languages. Like we had a guy that spoke Tagalog, we had a guy that spoke Cantonese, we had a guy fucking who spoke French who'd grown up in like I don't remember, somewhere in the South Pacific. Like, it's an extremely diverse group of people, and then you don't work in teams based on race. You're just working with a dude. Like, you just get a dude, and like you have to work together
With each other, and it goes fucking fine. And you know what word is perfectly fine to say? N-word. You can say that word at any time, to anyone, for any reason. Nobody gives a shit.
That's why, you know what? That's why people like 4chan.
Yeah,
Because you can talk the way you want it.
you could talk that absurd way, and everybody just
And they
kinda went,
took it and went overboard with it on purpose.
Yes.
It was like OP's a faggot. Like that's
Yeah.
the thing. Like
yeah,
it's
OP's
just,
a fag.
yeah, like and that's it. Like if you post on there, you're a fag. Like that's it. You just
Yeah. Well, people are gonna shit on you and just say ridiculous shit. It's just because they're gonna go old internet on you, and like that's what makes it fun. That's why. Oh, God bless 4chan. Those fucking people. They have come up with some of the, like, you know, they came
that's
up with
what
like
Gab is
they
now.
came up with like free bleeding and shit.
Yeah.
They
Oh,
actually-
have you seen the new
God.
thing?
The fact
They're
that
trying
they-
to make
oh,
turn
man.
the hashtag into. They're saying the hashtag is two H's on top of each other for Heil Hitler.
That's good. Hashtag is racist.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
Their newest campaign.
If you, that's the funny thing about the internet that they've proven is that, like, we
It
are.
worked with the OK sign.
Well, the thing is that they. This is something that I think a lot of left-leaning people who are not deep internet savvy, do not
Understand.
about 4chan. Is like, we are the fucking internet. We built it.
Yeah.
4chan is where we go to fuck around.
Yeah.
Like
The
they're-
people that are running the shit.
the
go
people that
there.
are running the fucking internet go there to hang out. You dum dums. Like, you think they're just these racist blah blah blah. They're doing it because it's funny. They're doing it because it
They're
gets internet
trolling
traffic,
you.
and they're trolling. They've been doing it for the past fucking 2 decades.
Well, now the counter argument to that is that some people have taken that trolling seriously.
That's the point.
No. I'm talking about the right wing people who take the trolling seriously.
Yeah. But that's
and
part of the point. Like,
exposing
it's-
them, I
that-
guess, is part of the deal.
Yeah.
Okay. I
That you're
get
like,
that.
like you kind of trick them into like coming out and being like, yeah, I hate
Okay.
these people, and you're
Okay.
like, well,
I
there
see
he
that.
is. See the racist.
Yeah.
like,
Okay. I get
like we
that.
got him. There you go. Found the Nazi. Like, that's the point.
Yeah, I get that.
Like, part of the
Yeah.
it is, and the whole thing is just it's so playful to its core, and like when it gets taken at these really 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 serious ways by people, like the creators of this
That's
stuff.
funny. I didn't think
just
about
think
it.
It's funnier.
You go on 4chan and pretend to be a Nazi, and then you say, "Hey, we're going to have a meetup, and all the Nazis meet up here." And then everybody who meets up there, you're like, "Ha, there's the Nazis."
Nazis.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting.
Pretty
I
much.
get it now. Okay.
Yeah, that's the point. Like, or you go, hey, all the Nazis are meeting in the square to tag something, and then you don't go. Like,
Well, now see
Yeah.
the other side of that though
don't
is
know.
I went to a free
That's a-
speech rally and there were a bunch of guys there throwing up this sign, but it's also to them they were saying 3%ers, which is the 3% of people that will show up to defend free speech.
oh.
And I was like, interesting. I hadn't heard that one yet.
Well, that's the thing, is that this is one of the big issues that, I mean, social media, Twitter in particular, is definitely displaying for. It's a communication issue. That everybody has different communication styles. Everybody's understood differently, and especially in 240 characters of text,
Oh yeah.
there's a lot you're gonna miss about that person's
well
intent.
now you can create threads. You can add to it. You're not limited to 240. You
Yeah,
are
no.
at a time, but not really.
Yeah.
You just have to be a little bit more
You
thoughtful
do need to be
about your space.
It is
usage.
appreciated if you are brief and focused, though.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
It does tend to be a bit more effective,
Yeah.
but
Also,
Yeah,
it's
the communication. That was the thing about that tweet. That guy misunderstood what I was saying about the fish.
Right.
He took it to say if you don't do if you're unsuccessful and the tribe has fish, you don't get to eat the fish. Like, it was misunderstanding the thing almost deliberately. But that's the thing about, like, that's the problem that's being exposed, is that we're bad communicators and we need to get better at listening.
Let me tell you, you reminded me of a story I wanted to tell earlier, because you had mentioned, not here, but about that story about having to start a fire on your own. If you don't start a fire, you don't get to eat hot food in wilderness training.
It's a real thing that I've experienced, and I have absolutely had nights where I did not rub two sticks together and make fire. I had to go sleep under a fucking tree and eat cold, wet food.
Let me tell you, so I went to YO Ranch in Kerrville, Texas, and it's a great ranch. They have a bunch of different wildlife. They have ropes courses, climbing walls, like all that, like team building shit.
Good shit.
Yeah, it was great. Great experience. But I guess second night there, they took us out and they were like, okay, you're going to pitch a tent. We're going to give you 2 matches only. And you have to make a fire. You know, you got to build up. They taught us, like, you got kindling, like you build up a pyramid, all that shit.
You have a match, you're already way ahead.
Yeah. Well, point being, they also allowed us to have bug spray. So I was like, I can make a fire. In 1 match, we are good.
I just got really good at rubbing 2 sticks together to make fire. Like, really good.
Yeah.
And then the other thing that you get good at is preserving your fire.
Yeah. Well, that I already knew how to do. I love playing
that's
with
the thing
fire.
is that anybody who hasn't camped for multiple days in real
you
conditions
really have to keep a
doesn't
fire
understand
alive.
that you build that nice campfire, and like you might just go back in bed and go to the tent and let it go out.
Somebody's got to tend the fire.
Well, the thing is that
if it's just you.
No, I'm saying if you're in a campsite and you're in a controlled situation, like normally, that's what normal to these people camping is.
Yeah.
That they would go, okay, fire goes out, start another in the morning, whatever. We have matches, it gives a shit. Like, but when you're out there and you got to go through all that labor to start the fire, you don't want it to go out because then you have to do all that shit again.
So how do you tend a fire when it's just you?
Well, the way that you do it is you build the fire up decently before you're going to go to bed, and you have a nice center of coals, and then you basically insulate the coals so that they're not going to get enough oxygen over the night, so that when you dig down, you'll still have hot coals. And then you have enough hot coals to go from restart.
There.
Yeah,
okay.
Kindling up from there, boom, back to a fire.
Cool.
And so, I mean, one of the easiest techniques to do that is to collect cow patties. Because out
they
there,
burn,
and it's open land, and so there's cattle roaming through the open land, and there's dry cow patties, and all they are is
grass.
Yeah. It's dry grass that's been sitting baking in the desert sun for a very long time.
I have chucked my fair share of cow patties.
If you pack those over the top of the coals when before you go to bed, then those form this like really thin ash layer it's perfect insulation.
Huh.
Yeah.
Huh.
So,
okay.
I know how to live in the fucking woods, is what I'm saying.
Awesome. That's cool.
But that's the thing is, like, I've lived in those difficult environments, and one of the difficult things for me, I mean, including, like, Afghanistan, sleeping in the dirt and eating out of, rations and whatever, having to carry all your water for the next 3-4 days on you when you step out for one day, so you got just packed with water, just weight of water. Like, I've lived in some really tough conditions. And so when I'm having some of these debates with people on Twitter, and I'm trying to express to them their lack of understanding of what it means when you say just go catch a fish, you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. They don't understand the difficulty of getting this society to the point where it is, to how easy we're living, to how easy everything is. They don't understand how hard it can be. I do. I've seen it. I've seen people living in it, like in Afghanistan, they're living like that generation after generation. Like, there's like somebody has a sat phone, and that's the craziest technology they've seen in a while, and like there's not really much else. Technology's not
otherwise
a part of their
they
life.
are
They're
hunting
farming,
and gathering, farming. Like they're
farming.
literal. Like
they're all
how,
farming. There's
how
no
am I
hunting to
getting
be
my
done
next
there.
meal?
It's just farming.
Is like their biggest concern.
Yes. It's
how am I going to get my meal?
Who
am I going to have sex with?
Well, running their family.
Yeah.
And in Afghanistan in particular, Islam. That's why Islam is successful in that region, is because it gives a tempo to the day.
Same thing with Catholicism.
It gives a focus to the population.
Yeah.
It gives a structure to the family, a structure to law, a structure to order. There's a reason.
Organized religion works really well with primitive
Well-
situations. No, it does. There's a reason it's been so successful.
Well, and that's the thing is the other thing about it is I think that there's value in that still, even once the civilization moves on. But also
there is.
acknowledging that was a necessary step,
Right.
to get from being a tribal society to where we're at.
I tell people that about Christianity all the time.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm sorry. Look, when you got people who worship different gods and maybe their god says it's okay to go rape the family next door. Who
Right.
fucking knows?
well,
But
as
when
long
you-
as if they did this sin or whatever.
But the thing
yeah.
is like, you don't have enough, the castle can't afford enough fucking knights and cops to go out and like police the fucking peasants.
Yeah.
Like, you can't police those fuckers,
Yeah.
but you got to keep them from killing and raping each other. How do you do it? Well, you tell them that there's a man up in the sky who can see them killing and raping each other, and he'll punish them later. So, like, it served a purpose, and it actually worked really well.
Sorry, we have 5 minutes left on our video recorder.
All right.
Yeah, no, it's not just that there's that God. The myth. That was one of the things I was thinking about with after listening to the Jordan Peterson thing, was that it isn't just that punishment aspect of the like, look out, there's a big brother that's going to come get you. I mean, it's definitely part of it, but it's also, hey, here's a way to be good and to contribute to society, and
Here's how to live a good life.
here's how to live a good life. And P.S. and by the way, here's a few little dumb psychological tricks that will get you past these things that could create emotional problems in the long run. And so you have like anxiety and depression, right? Where you're like worried about the future, you're worried about this, you're worried about that, and it creates an emotional response and it can really drag you down. But if you can actually genuinely believe that God's got this, I have faith in God, that like he's going to take care of me, I'm going to take this pain and I'm going to give it to him.
Continue going.
And it will actually physiologically, if you believe that, it will physiologically change your emotional response, and your positive emotional response will then allow you to move forward easier. And so it actually works, even though it's basically a placebo. It's a mental effect. It's a brain trick.
So we're done at 5 minutes?
Well, that's going to run out. So I was figuring we take a break, and then,
And then we can take
I
a
just
break?
have to. We've been recording a bunch of other stuff. I got to clear
Let's
the
do
card.
that.
Yeah.
Okay, because I do want to talk about Isaac Cappy.
Okay, well then
And,
that'll give me a chance to like read, or I guess I'm going to ask you on the cast so that
Yeah,
I'm
and
discovering
I'll gather
with
my
the, with
materials.
the,
but
the listeners who haven't.
To me, this story, look, I'm sick and tired of celebrities committing suicide who have been investigating pedophilia
you
in
did
Hollywood.
Start telling me about this.
So
Right.
I think this is a thing that I've
Hollywood,
that's been a thread on Not Safe for
cover
Work.
up, assassination.
It's like, look,
Juicy.
When Chris Cornell and I love fucking Soundgarden, I love Chris Cornell, and Chester Bennington died like so close together. That was, to me, I was just like, why? What the fuck's going on here? And that really just piqued my curiosity, and I started looking into this shit, and there's a lot to it, and we'll talk about it when we get back from break.
Hey, welcome back.
It's silence. This I stole this bit from Jim Jeffries. In fact, he probably stole it from somebody else. And it's
I didn't know
continuing here.
I guess now I'm gonna have to produce music just to stop you from ever doing that ever again.
Please do. Please do. If any artists are watching this who produce good music, drop
bad
us a
music.
line. Yeah,
Or bad music. We'll take bad music.
Yeah, we'll take really bad intro music.
Really bad.
Can you make
Like,
it super fucking bad? If you
some
can
of-
make us the worst fucking intro song
Oh, yeah.
you can think of.
So in.
And all it has to do is say silence this and whatever else you want to add.
I would say
No
you can
Nazi
go,
shit,
if you can
please.
go, but none of that. But if you can go for stupid, like we're going for don't take me seriously, is what we're going for. I think with the theme music, right?
Whatever. If you got theme music for us, fucking contact us. Like post a comment on YouTube. Fucking
Otherwise, I'm
send
gonna
me
start
a thing.
Otherwise, I'm gonna start doing audio, and you don't want me to start doing audio.
You hear that? We don't want him to start doing audio.
Don't want
So
that.
we're relying on you, our loyal listeners, to Come up with something.
I'll come up with something.
Whatever. I know real artists that can do better than you.
No,
I know real artists that can
leave them
do better
alone, Jay.
than you.
Leave them. Don't beat them up, Jay. Be nice. No, but I'll probably make something. I can make something. That's the thing is, like, I always get, like, when it comes to, like, making stuff. This was an interesting conversation I had with a Lyft passenger today. This young lady, we were talking about creative stuff and producing things. She's a writer. She worked as a journalist in DC, and she had some like video blog kind of stuff she was doing with a friend that they hadn't published yet. She had some podcast stuff she was doing they hadn't published yet, and they wanted to get like a couple episodes together before they published, and they wanted them to like all be good. They wanted to be proud of what they were putting out. Like, I understand. I get where they're coming from. And like, but that mechanism was stalling them, so they weren't actually getting anything done.
Right.
So nothing was going out.
Right. Like, yeah.
And they're coming in and
We
recording and
yeah.
doing stuff,
but it wasn't going
week
out.
in, week out, and nothing goes out the door.
That's frustrating.
Yeah.
That's really frustrating.
Really frustrating.
That's how I feel about the...
We don't do that.
Yeah.
I don't do that. I gave that shit up a long time ago. I don't give a fuck.
That's my argument for releasing the chin-up video. We'll move on.
No, I absolutely... Actually, at this point, I'm on your side. Yeah, I agree. I think Juan should put that shit out.
Yeah.
It was dope.
I think it's
It's dope enough. It's funny
dope
enough.
Yeah.
It's original enough.
We all worked on it.
And it's weird.
I like
weird.
it.
I like how weird it is.
Yeah.
Then that's the thing is that, like, actually, for like my work, like in my career, like as a video guy, this is going back to my roots.
No, I like it. I like it.
Like,
I like the project personally.
This is how I learned to do what I do.
Yeah.
Is getting together with a group of friends
And just
and
fucking
a
doing
fucking
it.
camera and just going,
Making it happen.
okay, what's in the room?
Yeah.
Okay, what if you get up on that pull-up bar and look like an idiot? Like, basically, of like, that would be funny. Okay, let's do that. And we just come up with shit. And like, I explored that for so many years that now people pay me money to do that.
So look, we're gonna talk about Isaac Cappy now. All right.
Hey!
So
We've been waiting for this. This was
who is
promised
Isaac
before the
Cappy?
break. Yeah.
Isaac Cappy was my most memorable role was he was a hustler in Beer Fest. When they go to pick up Jay Chandrasekhar, and he's a male prostitute, there's a guy with curly hair who's hanging out with him on the street. And I'd seen Isaac Cappy on doing Periscopes, and then I watched that movie, and I was like, aha! He has been in movies.
Yeah.
He's also supposedly in like Guardians of the Galaxy, like bit role. Like,
Yeah.
Anyway, he did a Periscope video where he called out famous Hollywood celebrities as pedophiles. However, his video stood out above others because he called out names such as Tom Hanks and Steven Spielberg. Names that normally nobody fucking
Pulled up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So those names made him all of a sudden like, oh shit, he's calling out these people. Nobody else is talking about this. What evidence do you have? You know, that kind of thing. And he also called out his buddy, Seth Green, who said was his buddy. And it's like, that's a weird person to call out. Seth Green, like, he's not he's famous enough.
Yeah.
Like, I love Robot Chicken.
Yeah.
Like, I love Robot Chicken. Like, it's one of my favorite shows ever.
Yeah.
Like, but he called him out for like joking about having a kitty dungeon in his house that Cappy never saw. So,
Which, let's be fair, he's a fucking comedian.
thing is,
So-
Cappy, yeah, right. Seth Green,
Very good chance he's not fucking being serious.
And Cappy was Seth Green. I believe his wife was actually pressing charges against Cappy or something of that nature for like slander or whatever, stalking something. I don't know.
yeah.
He also supposedly attacked some actress at some point. Don't know. Anyway, he did this over a year ago. Like, came out with these accusations and stuff. And he mentioned the Q phenomenon and Pedogate,
Sounds
and
a little-
Pizzagate, and all
sounds
this
like-
shit.
Sounds like a character. You're building quite the character here.
You're right.
Yeah,
It does sound like
he
a
sounds
character.
like if I and he lived in L.A. Is he in L.A. again?
Yeah, he's a D-level actor already. So, and then he gets
Was
like...
he successful? What at the time was he working and making money doing that, or did he just
To
go
me,
off
his
the
most
rails?
recognizable role was like a 2-3 minute appearance, and he barely had a few words in Beer Fest. So,
Yeah, but he's not. So he wasn't working.
Not
and
work
basically,
much.
it kind of sounds like an actor that went off the rails, and there's a good chance that he did actually just go off the rails on his own and end up killing himself.
Well,
It sounds
so-
like that's a pattern. You
so-
were building a pattern to me.
so yeah. So let's continue this story. Okay,
Yeah.
so a few years later, he starts talking about, oh, I'm a Judas. I'm going to be compared to Judas Iscariot. Apparently, a few videos before that, he said that he wasn't suicidal. He had repeated that many times, but apparently stopped saying it closer to his jump off of a freeway bridge in Arizona. So he jumped off of a bridge and landed on the freeway below where a truck hit him. There supposedly were a few teenagers who saw him on top of the bridge and tried to stop him from jumping, according to their testimony.
yeah.
Then he landed on the ground and then a truck hit him.
Well, well, those kids are gonna need therapy.
Well, so...
Come on, that's funny.
Yeah.
Come on, that's funny. Those kids are gonna need therapy. Come on, I'll be here all week, folks. Come on. They are though.
But to me, the weird thing about that is just the pattern of other people. For instance, I have to bring up Chris Cornell and Chester Bennington, who were both working together on a documentary about exposing high-level pedophiles and abuse of children in Hollywood, I believe. And Chris Cornell was one of the lead producers, backers of the project. And Chester Bennington himself had been abused, and so that's why he was such a staunch supporter of that stuff. And then the fact that they both ended up killing themselves, hanging themselves within a few months
Okay,
is
so there's-
very
Okay, so
Interesting.
this is where the correlation comes in.
yeah.
Okay.
All three of these people were
There's more than one. We're
investigating
looking at a
or
pattern.
talking
now.
about
Now we're talking about a pattern.
yeah.
I do also see the pattern of failed actor is finding some way to crack into things, and this is a popular subject, and he gets obsessed with it because he already wasn't very mentally stable to begin with because he's a fucking actor.
You're right.
Have you met actors?
Well, and let's talk about his Judas illusion, right? So there's a few ways to look at this. So you could look at it as in he was throwing Tom Hanks and Spielberg, people who didn't do anything, under the bus. That's a Judas thing to do, right? Kinda.
yeah.
However, another way to look at it is there was people who began contacting him about learning about the issues of child sexual abuse in Hollywood, and perhaps he turned some of those names in to people he was working for. That's the dark side of the Judas analogy.
I would have to know so much
Well,
more.
here's one of those people.
That's fucked up.
This
Oh,
lady's name.
the Judas and I
is-
get it now, but hold on, you're going pretty
Okay,
quick.
yeah,
You're going pretty
yeah,
quick
yeah,
here.
Yeah, no, I know.
And you're thick with the info.
I know.
Come on, man. Let's let me and the audience also sort this out.
Yeah, there's a lot here.
Okay. So this guy that he worked with, the guy that he was involved with, he's friends with, they were both abused, and they were both hung themselves within a month of each other. They were friends that
No.
were working to expose this together.
So
I
I don't
think
know
they were-
that there's any
Correlation
connection
between
between
those two.
Cappy and Cornell and Bennington. I don't
Other-
know that they know each other.
Other than they were all sort of ringing the same bell about
Yes.
pedophilia in Hollywood.
Yes,
Okay.
that's the connection. They were both
Which
concerned with
I
the
think,
same.
I think is a pretty well established phenomena.
Well,
come on, the Jackson
See, but
documentary.
here's the problem.
I just wanted to establish that
Yeah.
that like, okay,
No, the Michael Jackson
Well, the thing
case
is
is a
that-
good example.
Los Angeles, people are for sale. What's going on in LA is you're selling yourself to the industry. You're building yourself up to be something. People are for sale. Like, I've been down there. I've worked in the industry. You're fucking selling yourself. Like, I worked as a fucking military extra
It's
on
basically
TV shows.
how much money can you get
For your work. And so
yeah.
there are people there doing the extra work for $75 a day, but because I don't look like a fucking doofus with an AK-47 in my hands, I get $200 a day to stand in the background with a fucking rifle. Like, that's Los Angeles, man. And like, call time's 5 a.m. You really want to make $200 a day? This is what you want to do? Come on. Here we go. Like, and fucking, you're selling yourself and you're selling your time. Everything's contract. Everybody's disposable. Fucking,
Well, it sounds like a lot of other industries.
it's pretty savage, man. It's pretty cutthroat.
I've
And
just-
the people that make it are it's a certain type of person. It's a certain type of person. Some of the people that are my personally favorite people. I loved working in the effects industry down there because it's just a bunch of nerds in a room with fucking computers trying to figure out how to make magic.
I mean, I
And,
know
like,
people that.
It's the best people. I love those guys.
Well, for instance, one of my buddies,
And gals.
they were doing I was performing at an open mic at Edinburgh Castle on Geary, which, by the way, is in Venom. Like,
Yeah.
I watched Venom last night, and I actually saw, like, oh, these are interior shots of Edinburgh Castle. Nice. And thing
Well-
is I was performing in Edinburgh, had a great set. Fucking, I loved it. I thought my set went over really well. But they were shooting reshoots of Venom out in the street, so they had the street blocked off. And a buddy of mine that I knew from the Academy of Art
Was out on the shoot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was just like, nice, like, fucking good for you, man. Like, but he was always one of the hardest workers in every fucking class.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he was friends with, like, all the people that work behind the scenes. He was, like, buddies with all the
That's
fucking
how it
teachers.
works.
And, like, he was working his ass off every time I saw him.
Well, and the thing is,
he deserves that.
He was working the system and he was working the industry.
Yeah.
And I've done that. And I've showed up and I've put in my time and I've worked on my productions and I work hard on production. I know what it is. I know what it takes to do. And I think a lot of people kind of, chicken out in that. And I'm still negotiating it. It's a weird space because you do have to kind of find your own way.
But it is weird to be like, oh shit, you were in the same classes I was in. You were
Yeah.
in the, like, and
you're always working in the industry, man.
yeah. Like,
Yeah.
like,
Well,
but what I'm
let me-
trying is
oh,
different.
Okay, so one of my friends a guy that I met in the Marine Corps is still a friend of mine, Devin Reed. Shout out, check out Florin Coin and everything he's working on. Devin's really interesting. But he got me a job at Sony doing digital effects compositing. Basically got my start in this stuff. One of these other guys we worked with, his name's Chad Peter. He just did digital effects on Homecoming with Julia Roberts, which is on Amazon. Y'all check it out. He was basically deleting cars in the background that are from the wrong
Yeah,
time
yeah.
period
Oh, okay.
and doing shit like that. And then he did, I think, season 3 Mindhunters, which I don't think is out yet. But he went to that, and now he's on another production that he hasn't said on social media what it is.
Right.
But, like, I listened to his podcast, which that was where I was going with this, was everybody who's listening to this should definitely, especially if you like movies, go check out To Hell With This podcast by Chad Peter. And I forget his friend's name, but also cool dude, smart film guys. And they what they do is they take one film that they haven't, maybe the whether
Yeah, you
it's
talked about- told me about
it's
this before.
fantastic. It's a great podcast by two guys who are very, very film knowledgeable, and he's managed to find a place in the industry where he's comfortable and he's kind of shielded from that sort of ugly front end of the industry where he's not exposed to the the casting and the acting and the set and that kind of grind of things. Where his grind is going in and deleting cars in the backgrounds of the images in post-production. Like, he's sitting in an office. He's not in that space. And I understand why he's doing it that way. Like, I liked that work.
I have enjoyed that.
Much better.
Yeah.
That space in Hollywood and in LA. And when I was working for Netflix, or not Netflix, Ultraflix. When I was working for Ultraflix, that was the kind of stuff we were doing. And, like, that's the thing is like that environment was so toxic to me that's why I'm doing something different.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, like I really do love doing stand up. I really do love it. Like
I
to
just
me,
love comedy.
yeah, and that's my thing. Like I
Stand-up,
want to be,
sketch,
but
I don't
when I'm
care.
working in comedy, I don't just want to be doing production, post production. I want to be writing it. I want to be acting in it. I want to be a part of all of it. And that's the thing to me. It's like I just want to be in all. It's like I like being in all of it. Like I like.
Yeah.
I love being behind the camera. I'm actually really, really good at it. But I
Yeah.
also want to write some sketches and be in it. And it's like, to me, it's like getting seeing the reaction of my jokes that I wrote is what's important. It's like that's a
when
big
my
part
joke
of it.
lands.
Yeah.
Yeah, when I show somebody, my first experience of that on a really tangible level was I used to play with the camera and make these little short videos, which of course when you're a kid
Yeah.
are supposed to be funny. You're making everything you think is fucking hilarious. And they were like, my remake of the McDonald's sketch where they, it's like, oh, okay, I'll play it for a Big Mac, and then they just like, okay, from right here, and everybody makes it, and then they back up, and then everybody makes it, and then they go, and then next thing you know, cut to, okay, off the wall, off to this, off to that, off to that, off to that, off to that, and then in, okay, then you throw it, and it goes ding, 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 in. It's all just editing.
Yeah.
But like once I had figured out that I could edit like that and get those shots and put it together that way, and then you do it, it was so delightful. I didn't realize I was teaching myself editing.
Yeah.
Like I was teaching myself shooting and editing. I was having fun playing with the art form. And like thank God I had the tools for one. But I don't know, I've always been attracted to it and addicted to it, and it's that was the thing is that part of the reason why I joined the Marines is I didn't know what I wanted to do when I was in college. You know what I mean? Where you're like your first year of college, you haven't declared yet, and you're like, I think I want to study this.
So I had a weird thing where I was really good at psychology.
Yeah.
Like it's a thing I was good at.
I was good at physics.
And then I had a
I liked physics.
but I didn't know which college I wanted to go to. So I was like, you know what? If I'm going to like waste time or waste money, I'm going to waste the smallest amount of money I can at my community college.
Yeah, that's the way you do it.
So I'm going to go there and see and like study psychology and see how it works. But I had like family members that were like, psychology? What are you going to do with that?
Yeah,
blah, blah, blah.
yeah.
And it's like, honestly, that was actually a pretty
Well, the thing is
reasonable
you don't
thing.
necessarily use the psychology degree to do a psychology thing. You maybe get a sales position or something like that, but you get a job. And it's not about what your degree is in, it's about the fact that you went and took the time to get the degree. But I basically I went to school for a year. I was good at physics. I liked physics. I was interested in physics and film, and but I didn't know what I wanted to do. And so I was like, I'll just go. I want to get the fuck out of here, and go somewhere else and do something that's so away from here that when I come back, I'll know what the fuck I want to do. And that, film,
That was funny. I had a bunch
I was filming in Africa. On my first tour, I was filming. I was in Afghanistan, and I brought cameras. I brought guns and cameras. And I shot only cameras.
That's good. That's a good line. Shot only film. Video. Shot only video. In Midland, we were in the middle of West Texas. The closest big town was 2 hours away. That was Lubbock, where Texas Tech is. Mm-hmm. So I had a lot of people grew up and they were going to the high school I was, and they were like, "Oh, I'm getting out of here. Fuck this place. I want to get out of here." And it's like, it came graduation. I was like, "Where are you going?" 2 hours away, Lubbock.
Yeah.
And it's like, you're not
really
getting out of here. You're just
Yeah,
going to the college Midland.
That was like in Dayton. A lot of people were like, "I'm getting out of Dayton, man." It's like, where are you going? OU, man. I'm going to what is the town? Oh, I'm fucking forgetting the name of the town. It was this like, I'm like, you're in Dayton. And And like my friend, I'm getting out of here. I'm going to Cincinnati. I'm like, this is big Dayton.
Yeah, that's what it's like. You're going to Big Midland.
Yeah.
You're
It's
going
like
to
you're
Big
going
Midland.
to the same thing, but a little bit bigger. Like it's not. You are not getting out of anywhere.
Some people went to Austin, which admittedly is different, but like a lot of people, if
Do you know Beth Stelling at all? Do you know who she is? Do you know?
peripherally, but I don't.
I went to
really know
high
her.
school with Beth Stelling. She is. She's got. I think she was in the stand-ups on Netflix.
Right.
Yeah. So I went to high school with her in Dayton, Ohio, and she went to Chicago. She came up through Chicago. And so I think Chicago is getting out of Dayton, and then she's now in L.A. That's getting out of Dayton, and she tells jokes about it. That's how you get out.
Well, that's what I was like. I was never one of those people that was like, oh, I can't wait to get out of here. Oh, I'm fucking out of here. I was just like, yeah, I'll see. And then all of a sudden, I was just like, San Francisco. Wait, you don't even have to get medical marijuana. You can be a caregiver and go get weed. What? And I was like,
We have
I'm
to try
going to
this.
San Francisco.
Try this. San Francisco's dopest. That's the thing is I was born here. Like I just like the city. I like living in the city. I like being in the city. I like the people. I like the culture. I like the atmosphere. I like the parks. I like the food. Like I don't really want to live anywhere else, and it's the most expensive place in the country to live, but I just tolerate it and grind it out because it's fucking worth
Hold on.
it.
Here's the thing.
It's
like,
worth it.
First
if you
of
can
all,
make it work, if you can make San Francisco work, it's a beautiful city to live
it
in.
is
It's
really
wonderful.
expensive to live here, but like, dude, I've been here for 16 years, and my rent, if I move back home to Midland, Texas, the oil field is going so well right now, I would only be paying a couple, maybe $300 difference. Whereas I'm in a 7th floor downtown apartment with a view. Here in the middle of a really nice city with a parking space.
I actually, for me, I measure it more in like the green space and the parks.
Right.
And
no, the parks are fucking wonderful out
the
here.
other thing is
you live in a great neighborhood.
Well, the other thing is that we drive around the city all day.
yeah, we
And-
get to see everything.
And that's the thing is like when you measure like human happiness, that exposure to nature, that exposure to beauty,
Dude, I
that
love fucking
exposure
driving
to
around.
like
See, you do
that
morning
helps.
driving.
That's nice. That
but I
makes,
do.
I'm serious. I think Lyft driving in San Francisco.
It's fucking great.
It's if you can handle the driving
If
part.
you're not a piece
it's
of shit,
it's
you
a
should
fucking,
be having a
It's
good
a
time.
fucking antidepressant.
It's
It's literally like sometimes I'm bummed out and I'm like I'm gonna go get some people where they're going. This is gonna be good.
dude. There's
Like,
a
I
reason.
like it.
There's a reason I work from like 5 p.m. till whenever. It's because I love that sun setting.
Yeah.
Like the sun just starts setting.
you go to
and
sunrise?
I'm driving around.
You ever driven at sunrise?
I'm sure it's similar, but on the other side of the city. See,
Oh, sunrise is good.
well,
if you get up
but
at like
with
3 a.m.,
sunset, you get the
it's
West
good.
Coast. I get it.
Yeah, it's good.
I've done that too,
Yeah.
but not as often.
I like it.
Well, no, it's great. It's fucking great, dude. I can't tell. There's so many times when I'll just drop a person off near Ocean Beach, and it's like the sun's setting. I'm turning off my shit. I'm gonna take my vape pen and just go fucking watch the sunset at the
Yeah.
beach. And it's fucking great.
Dope.
And I've done it from multiple different perspectives
I've
all
done-
over the city.
I've done that where-
all over the bay, dude. It's
I've done that where I
fucking
was
great.
like, I drove all the way across the sunset, and I got to Golden Gate Park, and I hadn't gotten a ride, and I'm like, fuck this shit. Turn it off.
Yeah.
Park the car. Go walk around in Golden Gate Park for like 20 minutes. Like, don't even. That's the other thing is like I call people and text people and do shit. I'm like, nah, just fucking walk around the park. Why? Because I fucking live here.
Yeah.
I love this goddamn city. I'm just gonna go walk around the
Yeah.
fucking park because it's beautiful, and I have 20, 30 minutes in the middle of the day to do this, and not many people do. So,
Dude, and
I'm gonna do it.
When you get outside the city, you got redwoods, like serious fucking forest.
Serious forest.
Like you could
North
just
and
again,
south.
you could just turn your car off and just wander off.
Drive down
into
the
the fucking
280
mountains.
Drive down the 280. Look at some of those forests between Half Moon Bay and
Oh,
280 down
Half
on the
Moon Bay is
down
fucking
on the
beautiful
92.
too, man.
You drive down the 92, the single lane highway to get down to Half Moon Bay, with all those like eucalyptus and all those other trees and shit. I don't even know what a bunch of them are, but like especially like after that big rain, I got some rides down in that area, and like it's like Pacific Northwest kind of soaked green, like that deep green.
Well,
It's
you have to
beautiful.
have an appreciation for that stuff,
Yeah,
which I do. I fucking love it.
I love it.
And so to me, like, yeah, driving around, like,
It's gorgeous.
yeah.
It's gorgeous.
Yeah.
Like, especially like that's the thing is that especially after like event, like you're responsive, you're paying attention to the weather. So like the rain means more to us as a Lyft driver than it does to most
you
people.
make a shit ton of money in the rain.
You make more money in the rain. It's harder to drive. There's
It
fewer
is harder
people
to
out.
drive. There's a
there's
reason you make
challenges.
more.
There's a reason
Yeah.
you make more money. But if you can do it, you're fine. You'll make plenty of money.
Yeah.
And then, you watch the city change. You're literally looking at the city different. Like I look at the city different. Like I'm in love with the city differently because I drive around it all day,
Yeah.
most of the time.
You know, it's a
Like-
real good way to learn to appreciate where you are.
Yeah, because
And-
we're in a beautiful
and
place,
it-
in a
it's-
beautiful place at a beautiful time.
It's
Like-
sad to see, like, I'm in a lot of the driving groups, and it's just sad to see the people that just don't appreciate
Yeah.
what they have and what they're doing. Like,
I think that goes outside, beyond the Lyft groups. I think that's a lot
no,
of people.
you're right. That's anything.
It's a lot of
Like,
people.
Yeah.
But one of the things
Well,
the Lyft
yeah,
group,
I think both of us have a tendency to look towards the positive and appreciate the positive. That's the thing, is we appreciate the positive.
Yeah.
Like when we see the benefits and good that something
Like,
does, you
look
go,
how good
oh,
this is."
look at this. This
they're
is
like-
neat.
they're like, but it also stamped on this flower, and you're like, yeah, but the skyscraper.
Yeah.
You're like,
Yeah, it's like, oh yeah, poor flower. Anyway.
anyway, also there's flowers over there. We're all right. Like, it's essentially that where you're like, there's all this good. Like I get it. Like I get it. The flower got stamped out, and like, I was watching this documentary about whale hunting, and like there was this, beach culture tribe that's basically the only people who are allowed to hunt in the ocean for all these creatures, and so that's their livelihood, and so they're kind of harvesting a lot of shit, but like that's what keeps their village going in the modern age because they're the only people left, and they're doing it with primitive tools, hunting whales with primitive tools.
Really?
But that's what keeps their village going in the modern age because they are lit, like all the whale hunting is banned. But they're the only motherfuckers that can kill
Because
a
it's
fucking
their ancient.
tradition and all this stuff.
So
And they have to do it ancient style.
This-
And so homeboys are going
Oh,
out there
wow, they have to
jumping
do it
out of
old
boats
style.
with big ass fucking spears, stabbing
where's
these
the fucking
whales.
documentary about that?
It's on Netflix.
Yeah?
That's what I
Okay.
was watching
That
when you
sounds
came
awesome.
in.
What's it called? That sounds
I
awesome.
forget.
That sounds amazing.
It was good. It was also kind of disturbing to
Yeah,
see.
I bet. I don't
like,
want to see whales die.
It wasn't
but on
just
the other
whales.
hand,
It was whales and rays and like
and they just kill them old school,
and they was
like,
killing them all old school. And then they're
like a bone knife or like a metal knife.
no, like a spear,
Oh,
like
whoa.
a big fucking
Okay.
12-foot spear.
Made of bone or metal.
It's wood, I think, until the metal on the end
Metal,
of the
okay.
end of the spear. I
Okay,
think.
I'm just trying to understand.
And then they're like jumping off the front and like leap diving to get this spear into the whale so that they can keep it from diving, so they can keep it up, so they just hook it so it can't dive.
This sounds amazing.
And then they basically like pull it up until
Fucking
they can
shit.
like wear it out, and then they cut it in the spine and like kill
That
it.
sounds like they earned that fucking whale.
They fucking earned it. It's gnarly as fuck. It's so fucking gnarly. And some dude has to jump in the water with this big ass knife and like find the right spot on the whale and then cut its fucking spine.
Holy shit.
It's like homeboys fucking got down in there and got that whale.
Fuck.
God damn. Like ancient, like Neanderthal style. Like they
So-
got that bitch.
So there's two stories I have to talk about now in relation to this. Number one is Dwat Mai. Do you know Dwat Mai?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Great,
Character.
great
I know.
comedian.
I've
Fucking
known him
love
for
Dwat.
years. Known him for years.
Very solid. Love Dwat. He's
Yeah.
always been a great guy. to me.
Upbeat,
Yeah.
funny,
Yeah.
goofy, pleasant to be around, remembers everybody.
Can't say a single bad thing about
Can't
Dwat.
say anything bad about him. Love him.
So he was photographed. There was a beached whale on Ocean Beach.
Yeah.
And he climbed up its fin up on top of it and stood on top of it, and like a photographer, like a TV photographer, somebody or newspaper, got a photo of him standing on top of the whale, and they were like, Dwat Mai stands on top of this, and he got so much hate for standing. It's just like, it's a fucking dead whale.
Why?
It was already
Dead.
He just climbed up there to see if he could.
Yeah. Just to see if he could. Because it was a weird thing to do.
And I couldn't believe that like people were hating on him.
Why? What's to hate on him for it?
They're animal rights activists.
It's dead.
Right. Yeah.
It's not an animal anymore. It's a dead. It's a
it
dead.
killed itself. Like it did.
It's a dead.
Dwat did not kill it.
It's dead. It's not a thing anymore that you need to care about. It has no central nervous system. It has no nervous response. There is no sympathy that you need to show to this mass of dead whale. It's dead. Shut the fuck up. Right? Right?
Yeah.
Am I not right? That makes total fucking sense to me. You like got quiet.
No, because I was trying to think of my next topic where I was going with this. It was related to whale killing, and I lost it.
Yeah.
So that's what happened.
Yeah, well, what were we talking about in the first fucking place? We started at films. What did we start at? See, this is my point with the threading.
It had something to do with the old school killing of whales.
Oh, yeah. No, because we were talking about people's... that's the thing, is when I'm talking about that kind of stuff, I'm talking about, people's appreciation, people's understanding of things, Especially with the military and the combat.
Oh, I got it.
Yeah,
I got it. So Adam Conover, Adam Conover from Adam Ruins Everything?
Yeah.
I haven't seen the Adam Ruins Everything, but he was on Joe Rogan Experience, and he talked about how trophy hunting actually keeps animals alive.
Right.
And it was just the most mind-blowing fucking thing to me.
That's where we're going. Yeah.
Is that... trophy hunting of lions and rhinos
is what keeps the rest of them alive.
Yeah, because otherwise those tribes and people in those areas would have to kill them to make a living. But
so that relates back to the documentary. Okay, see, we're stoned. Hey, we made it though. We got there. Hey. But yeah, no, that's totally true. That's that's essentially what I'm talking about. Is that it's the same thing on the other side, where like it's the same effect, where like. Nobody else can hunt the whales, and so the only people that can hunt the whales have to do it in a brutal way. So nobody else can hunt the lions, but the people that can hunt the lions have to pay $50,000 to hunt the lions.
It's the only thing that they have to get like first class accommodations and guides, and like they support an entire
industry.
Village.
Yeah.
Like that would otherwise have to sell the rhino horns to survive.
Mm-hmm.
They keep those rhinos alive by charging one asshole $100,000
to kill some fucking giraffe that was gonna fucking die.
That was gonna kill all the other giraffes.
Yeah. It was gonna just keep fucking up all the young giraffes that they were gonna let grow up. Like,
and it's like once you learn that, it's just
people see. The thing is that people don't keep gardens or. So my grandmother, you were talking about family stuff in the first part. My grandmother grew up in the Depression, and she was,
mine too, yeah.
And she grew up on a farm, a poor farm in Kentucky, where they had like a vegetable garden, and that was basically their main sustenance. And I think they farmed a bunch of other animals and stuff. They grew a couple things, and and so my grandmother grew and canned and jarred, like all the way through her life.
Mine too.
Yeah. And my great grandmother did the same thing, where they had a garden and they grew stuff, and then they would can it and jar it. And they would use it and cook with it and eat, and they would eat their own food. They'd cook and make and eat their own food for the whole life, and preserve their own food. And they did it all the way through their whole life. I mean, into their 80s and 90s. And so, like, I don't know. I have
saving was a completely different thing back then.
That's saving. That's what saving was.
Yeah,
that's what saving was.
So
was and you had to earn it. And the other thing is that like the meat and things like that from when they grew up. It wasn't pork that you bought from the store. It was a fucking piglet that you bought cheap and then found a way to fucking feed. Yeah. And then once it grew up, you cut its fucking head off and you ate it. and that's how you fucking survived.
My grandparents were definitely all like that. All like both
Yeah.
both sides of my family. But here's a really interesting thing from the Graham side of the family. I learned from my aunt is she remembers breaking cannabis stalks and hanging them upside down and that whole thing. So apparently during World War II, when growing hemp, or World War One, excuse me, when growing hemp was a really big thing for the war, my family was one of those hemp growing families.
Interesting.
And like they
in
also
your
grew marijuana. Like, yeah, I didn't realize that. Like, it's
Yeah, what my grandmother did, what my grandmother did to get out of that situation, classic Rust Belt. She went up to Dayton, to the big city, got a factory job, got a husband, got married, had a kid. That's my mom. And then, they raised their kid in their dysfunctional marriage in a suburban white town in, Dayton, Ohio. And then she got the fuck out of there.
I mean, my name is Jay Graham. Like, you roll up a Graham and a J. Like, it's pretty...
Is that really?
I can't say it's not.
Nice. We have some interesting family members.
It's also weird that I work at the Fillmore, which was founded by Bill Graham, and my uncle and my grandfather's names were both Bill Graham.
Yeah.
And I have seen God at the Bill Graham Auditorium a couple times.
Nice. You're a total pothead stoner to the core.
Like
you hit all the marks.
I can't get away from it.
No, yeah, I think you just resigned to it at this point. I think at this point, do you have any weed tattoos?
No tattoos at all.
No, you need a weed tattoo.
No, I don't do tattoos.
Nope, you need a weed tattoo. I'm gonna hardline you on this one. You definitely fucking need a weed tattoo.
I'll just have weed on me.
No, you need a weed tattoo, man.
Will it get me high?
Yeah. Yeah, totally will. In a different way, man.
I love your conviction on that.
That
was awesome.
I love my tattoos, man. My tattoos kind of give me a little buzz. They do. I do think that tattoos have a long-term benefit of like you made a decision before and now you have to live with it. And
sure, I get that.
And like this one, this tattoo, which actually the camera should be able to see if you're on the YouTubes. It says, anyone can die trying. It started with die trying, which is a dumb thing to get tattooed on your arm when you're fucking 19. And
especially going into the Marine Corps.
Yep.
Die trying. I'm a Marine. Die trying.
And then, hold on. It's surrounded by this design of, then there was a band, and there was a 50 Cent album, and the reference just like...
you lost me at 50 Cent.
Oh, the words got bad. The words got bad, but I learned so much about words with this mistake. I learned so much about words, the importance of words, so much. And then, so the design around it is at the Wilderness. You earn an Earth name. You earn a different name. You grow like when you like turn a point, and they're like, "All right, you're a different like you got it. Like you're going in a different direction." You earn a name, and my name was Falling Water Flicker. So the design, I was like, all right, I'm going to fix this tattoo. And so the design around that was like this falling water design of like, no, I know who I am. I know where I came up with that idea, what it kind of meant. But there's a deeper, like, I'm all right. Like, I'll figure it out. And then the anyone can came later, way after like Afghanistan and jumping out of airplanes and blah, 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 and watching everybody die and watching people die. And it's like, anybody can die trying. Anybody can die trying to do anything.
I like that. Okay.
And
good
like,
explanation.
It like... You can die, like you can, but it's important that you do it. It's important that you try. It's important that you fuck up. It's important that you fucking, make the mistake. Put it on your skin.
I have a similar
Go ahead,
story.
man. You'll be all right. You'll figure it out. It'll end up making sense. It'll end up working out. Take the risk. Jump out of the airplane. That's kind of where. That's kind of what it means to me.
I had one piercing for every time I had been arrested.
Yeah.
I had an eyebrow, 2 earrings, and a tongue piercing. But at one point I was arrested and had to have the tongue and they took the tongue piercing out, which healed at that point. And Oh, no. That healed after oral surgery, excuse me. The earrings were actually fresh enough that they healed overnight when I was arrested, when I was in jail. And I didn't ever poke them through again. But
I don't know. I don't want piercings.
well, to me, like
That's the other thing is that then I got the whole other tattoo, which goes all the way from my shoulder, like my back, my ribs, and like the only words on that one are "humble yourself." I like those, and that actually is technically a biblical reference.
that brought me to my least favorite tattoo of all time.
Yeah. Well, I was just talking. We've talked about tattoos before. On the
Okay,
podcast.
it can't be my least favorite, but my least favorite style of tattoo.
Well, I'm talking about my my tattoos and my
Yeah, great. I'm going to tell you what my least favorite.
what the ones you don't like.
Yeah, I'm telling you about
'Cause,
that.
see, that's the thing is you're focusing on the negative of the tattoos.
I'm
You're
focusing on a thing that I would like to see less of.
Well, the
I'm trying
other
to
thing-
influence people to do this
you're-
less.
No. You're trying to talk yourself out of it.
No.
That's what's going on. No. You're talking yourself out of it.
No, I'm
So,
talking myself. I'm talking about a thing that annoys me, which is a block of text in a tattoo.
Yeah, those happen. It's not.
You can't tell me a block of text is attractive on any person.
Nah, but I have seen a good block of text where you're like, actually, those set of words, like, or somebody gets some like, sometimes they're song lyrics and you're like, those are dumb song lyrics. You're an idiot. Sometimes they're like song lyrics.
To me, it's
or
just
sometimes
like,
it's like
if you want to memorize something, fucking memorize it. Don't write it down because what was that thing that I was supposed to memorize?
No,
What was it?
You're not understanding.
No, I guess not.
You're not understanding. You're really not understanding. There's a different thing that happens. Like, okay, I got humble yourself. I chose those words because the guys.
That's not a fucking paragraph.
No.
No, a phrase.
But I learned my fucking lesson the first time. I'm fucking.
That's still not what I'm talking about.
But I know, but hold on. Let me fucking finish my goddamn story. It's a good story. Okay, so Sergeant Major Cottle and Lance Corporal Santani fucking got blowed the fuck up and died in Afghanistan, and it sucked, and it was awful. And, like, that guy had been, like, LAPD SWAT captain. Like, the guy had been in, like, because he was a reservist, so he'd done, like, special forces in the Marine Corps. He'd done a bunch of time in the Marine Corps, and then he decided that he didn't want to, like, stay in the military. And so he went and got into, like, law enforcement and SWAT and stayed in the reserves and kept deploying and serving and going back and forth between the two. And he had a wife and a couple kids. And, like, the guy had just, like, given so much and done so much and worked so hard for so many years and been around and created so much. And then just, boop. Bye-bye. That's it. That's all she wrote. Fucking that's over. You don't get the next, you don't get the next 30 years. You don't get the next 20 years.
And that was a captain?
No, he's a sergeant major.
Sergeant major. Wow.
He's the highest enlisted rank.
Wow, yeah.
He was our battalion sergeant major. So you deploy as a battalion. And so he was basically, as far as our deploying group, he was the you have your commanding officer, your executive officer, and that's the officer side. And then on the enlisted side, you have your sergeant major.
Really?
So he's the enlisted command.
Wow.
The commander, like as high as it gets on the enlisted side.
Okay.
That guy
commander.
should not die. That guy is not supposed to go.
Right.
That guy is supposed to be like far enough back and protected and rear. And it was a freak situation where they were the sixth guys in the convoy and there's just dumb luck. It was just stupid.
Sixth in the convoy.
Sixth in the convoy, and they were following the tracks of everybody else. So everybody else had rolled over that same spot.
Wow.
And they just happenstance hit the device right.
No way.
And boom. And it happened to hit. It happened to hit on the right tire. Happened to hit in the right spot where it hit them and not like the engine or something else. Like, it was dumb. There was no sense or reason or logic or anything to it. And it's like, dude, you could get, and then when you're driving around Lyft, when you're, like, I'm so aware of danger. I'm so aware of danger. And so many other people aren't. And it's like, you could get blinked out. Like, be aware of that. Be ready for that. Know that that's possible, and respect, like, humility is just, like, respecting existence. Of, like, being like, yeah, that danger's there. And, like, but I got to exist. You got to go. You have to exist. You have to go out and do stuff. And, like, get the fuck over the danger, and don't fucking think that you're fucking
Dude, that's
anything
part
special.
of life. You have to get over fear and go fucking survive.
Yeah, and don't, they also, like, don't think just because you're surviving or figuring, like, don't think you're figuring it out better than anybody else. Don't fucking, don't think you're surviving better than anybody else. Don't, just fucking worry about yourself. Take care of your shit. Take care of what you can take care of. Keep it to what you can do, because, man, you can't stop somebody from fucking getting blowed the fuck up. You can't do it. Can't do it. There's nothing that you can do to prevent that. Everything was done right in that situation, and it still went wrong. It's like, it's gonna happen. It's very possible. I'm aware of that, and, like, I'm not dark or sad about it. Like, I think it's kind of liberating, personally, to be like, shut the fuck up, go get it.
All the checks were in place.
Yeah, you can do everything right, and everything can fail, and you know what? Guess what? You can also still get back up and dust off and go get yourself, because you didn't get blown up. You didn't get shot. That's not happening here. Somebody said some words that hurt your feelings. Ooh, get up, go. Oh, work was hard. Oh, your boss yelled at you. Oh, this, like, I can't stand Americans' complaints. That's what a lot of the jokes that I was writing were about, was like, you guys don't know how easy your lives are. You really don't know.
No, yeah. It's virtual complaints, man. It's
complaints. Well, that's what I think. You probably should have studied psychology, because I'm actually at the opinion right now that most of the complaints are actually internal psychological ones. That actually most
projection.
Yeah, that actually most of the problems are basically gone, but they're perceived problems that aren't. If you actually went out and tried to go and do the thing that you say you can't do, you probably could do it.
You're right. That's a good way to put it. It's a perceived
problem that's
obstacle.
stopping you from going and doing something. But actually, if you just went and did the thing,
you probably find the obstacle's not there.
You probably find it's fine. Like,
you just have to keep going.
Yeah. I guess where else I learned that? Production. That's how we made a podcast.
Well, that's what it's like, you know why this podcast exists? Because an obstacle came up, and I was like, fuck that. I'm still going.
Yeah, no. And I was on your team. I was 100% there with you. And actually, the first episode we lost. We lost over an hour and however long of recording time. Hour and 20 minutes.
We still came back.
Yeah, we lost an hour and 20 minutes, and we were like, that sucked. That hurt. Took that one to the balls.
We didn't need that. Okay. That was an extra, like...
Gonna let it go. Gonna do another one. I'll see you in a week. I'm gonna breathe that one off. But, like, yeah, you just you take those shots, and like that was the other thing is the last sketch I was telling you about, the sex doll sketch. I'm not gonna give it away on the podcast, but we shot this sketch with Brady and Wildebeest. Where we thought we were going to have 4 people, and Juan wasn't able to make it. And so we rewrote the sketch on the fly right there. We were like, okay, just get rid of Juan's character. So where do these lines need to go? And, like, who needs to say, like, reorder, like, make everything make sense. And then, boom, shoot the thing.
Will this be released on Hobo Comedy?
This will be on Hobo_comedy, yes.
Dude, I want people to be able to find these sketches. Hobo Comedy's great. It's it's mainly Wildebeest and Brady, but like you produce a lot of the sketches. And
I've been producing more and more with them, but I'm trying to train Brady up to be his own producer, director.
You're raising the level of professionality.
Yeah,
but they come up with good ideas on their own, and it's really worth checking.
But I also, I think we're all working on getting better, and we're having fun. Making fun stuff, getting better. And so some of it kind of sucks, but like we like how it sucks.
That's what I'm saying about the
fun.
fucking chin up video.
That's the thing is like, yeah, the
I
chin
like
up,
the way it
yeah,
sucks.
I think it's good. And that's the thing is like I actually really like the Apple Watch video.
I like that one.
Yeah, because
That one's really good.
it's
I like that one a
it's
lot.
dumb on
It's perfect.
on the right note of dumb. Like it's so San Francisco dumb. You know who would like that? Ali Wong would like that. Her movie's great. Go check that out on Netflix. Have you seen that, Ali Wong? Her movie's
Nobody
great.
told me about it.
Ah, it's great. It's great.
Um,
Local comedian. San Francisco's Ali Wong. That's our girl. She's our girl. I think she's that dude. I think she's great. Like I remember seeing her at the Punchline, and you know, I know there was a time where she actually was struggling, you know, with her comedy and finding her voice and blah blah blah. And her 2 specials, they're pregnant, and you know, she's kicking ass, man. She's great.
yeah, no, she's definitely one I've seen come up in my own scene.
Yeah.
Camus Bell, like I was
Yeah,
here for
come
like
on.
a lot of his rise.
Yep, me too.
There's
Yeah. They were both
David
at Punchline.
Borey. He was just on AP Bio.
Oh yeah, I still see him. I still see him on social media mostly. Yeah.
But like I was watching TV and I was like, "There's David Borey." Like playing a character on a show I watch anyway. Like I didn't know he was going to appear. It was a great surprise. And I mean, like his character just said one line and bounced, but still, like there's
thing,
potential
man.
there for more.
That's my experience with this. You know, the film
Oh, except
industry.
for that show might be over.
It's my experience with film industry and comedy and video and production and acting and everything is like, if you do it, like you have to do it first. You have to just do it first. And if you're doing it first, then you can get better at it. And if you get better at it, then you can get paid to do it. But you have to do it first. And like, yeah, so many people you have to figure out a way to do that. And so many people get lost in that. I love listening to Joe Rogan when he's talking to other comedians for that, because they all
It's really inspiring.
they all describe that like
Well, it's
like
different
how they
for
figure it out.
everybody too.
But,
like
like,
to
you
hear
have to
different
have that
paths
personality.
and how they make it's how they're similar but how they diverge.
Right,
and
because
how
everybody
finds
has
their own
Everybody
niche.
has different priorities, and everybody has different things they want to get good at. I mean, that was one of the things that like in doing this stuff with Brady, it was like I want my comedy and my video world to come together more. And like, why haven't I done that more? Here's an opportunity to do that more. I would love to do that. Like, yeah, let's do more of that. And so like, yeah, I'm having fun, and I feel like the podcast is going somewhere. I feel like I'm having fun doing this and producing this and hanging out with you and making these. And I feel like, we're having fun, making the videos and writing them and producing them. And I don't know where it's going to go. I don't know where we're going with all of this, but it's going somewhere. And I'm on board, and somebody is texting me relentlessly just now. I feel like we're coming to an end.
Are they calling me names, telling you
like-
you shouldn't do a show with me?
I feel
That's
like
what it
we're-
looks like.
I feel like we're.
Looks like you're being warned.
I feel like we're. I feel like we're coming to an end. No, they're pitching Brady and Juan. Brady's pitching a script. Brady's pitching he's pitching a comedy idea. In
Well,
text.
you can check out. You can find out how that goes on Hobo Comedy, on Instagrammy, and Facebooky, and Twitterly, literally, and YouTubey, and
I would like people to go to removedfromreality.com. Check
good
out,
idea.
or even the Removed from Reality YouTube page, and check that out on the documentary I'm working on about Afghanistan and masculinity and all that shit. And then I think that's the main priority for me. Hobo Comedy, like, the stuff's going to come out there. We already talked about that.
And there's no way anybody's made it this far, but if you have, then you definitely want to subscribe.
Yeah. No, if you're this far and you don't push the button, if you actually watch this whole fucking thing,
Yeah,
on
and
YouTube
in
and you don't push
fact,
the button,
you
you're an
should
idiot.
share this. You should share
I'd
this
appreciate
over
it.
and over and over again.
I'd appreciate
on
it.
every fucking
I'm an interesting
thing.
dude, and
subscribe to Silence This or
fucking-
Silence This Show wherever you can
I'm
find
putting
it.
out there, man. I put it out there, man.
Alright.
We throw down.
Share this fucking show.
Throw down.
Share it, or we'll kill you.
He'll kill you.
I will. I will.